What is a baby's natural and default state, assuming the baby wasn't abused, neglected, or had any physical issues? Are babies naturally stressed, anxious, fearful, and self-conscious? Or are they naturally in a state of bliss, happiness, and love? Our natural state is one of being in joy, love, and peace.
64,000 is the median number of words per book. Average person reads about 200 words per minute. Simple math will tell us that is one book in 320 minutes. To accomplish this in 7 days, numbers say you would have to read for 45 minutes a day. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that notification button, like, comment, and share. Enjoy.
Welcome to the Book of the Week series. Every week, as I read another amazing title, I share it with the world. My name is Igor S.F. Walker. Today, we look at Do Not Believe Everything You Think. Why your thinking is the beginning and end of suffering. By Joseph Nguyen. So how about you slow down and relax? Reduce all that noise for just a bit. Make that choice and decide to listen. In this video, we discovered the difference between thoughts and thinking. We are reminded again that the only reason we look for things externally is to get a feeling internally. We discover how human experience is created by these three principles: universal mind, consciousness, and thought. We actually ask, what would you experience rather? A crowded mind or a peaceful heart? Stick around till the end. I will share with you some tools I haven't used that will help you tremendously in this game of life. Discover a way to find out what actually motivates you. What innate human need is driving all of your decisions and your behavior. I will share some tools to improve your self-awareness, social awareness, self-management, and relationship management. What I know to be the truth from the depths of my soul. You will not be the same person as you were after you read this book. The only constant is change. Growth is an inevitable process of life, and it will be impossible for you not to change after reading this book. We cannot change what we are not aware of. And once we are aware, then we cannot help but change. Sheryl Sandberg. In actuality, we only want these external results, like money and significance, because we want to experience certain feelings inside, such as love, joy, peace, and fulfillment. The feeling is really what we want in our lives, not the physical things. But the trap is that we believe the physical things will actually give us those feelings. Now, the secret lies within the feeling. The truth lies within everyone and in everything. You must look beyond the form, the physical, to see and experience the truth, the spiritual. The words in this book are not truth. They point to the truth. Look beyond words to see the truth for yourself. Truth cannot be intellectualized. It can only be experienced. The truth lies within a feeling, which is why it cannot be formulated into a word. If you want to find the truth, look beyond the words and look for a feeling. Many who discover the truth will describe this feeling as one of complete peace, unconditional love, and an overwhelming amount of joy. People also describe it as the most familiar unfamiliar feeling. It feels like you're finally home. So look for that feeling and everything will be revealed to you. Do not try to use your intellect to figure it out, because you won't. As soon as you intellectualize it, you have missed it. The truth does not come from memorizing a sentence or two. One who looks around him is intelligent. One who looks within himself is wise. Now each of us lives through our own perception of the world, which are vastly different from the person right next to us. An example of this is that you could be sitting in a coffee shop, having a quarter-life existential crisis, completely stressed out of your mind about how you have no idea what you are doing with your life, when it seems like everyone else has theirs all together. Now, while the person next to you is happily enjoying their freshly brewed drink while peacefully people watching, you both are in the same exact coffee shop, smelling the same exact aromas, surrounded by same strangers, but how the world looks to both of you simply couldn't be more different. Many of us go through the exact same events, or are in the same exact locations at the same exact time, yet we are having completely different experiences of the world. The meaning or thinking we give to an event is what determines how we ultimately feel about it. Now, that meaning or that thinking is the filter through which we see life from then on. And because of this, we live through a perception of reality, not in reality itself. Reality is that the event happened with no meaning, thinking, or interpretation of it. Without our usual thinking about a particular event or a particular thing, our experience of it completely alters. This is how we live in a world of thought, not reality, and how our perception of reality is created from the inside out through our own thinking. Now, with this new understanding, you've just uncovered the cause of all of our human psychological suffering. Now, if we know that we can only ever feel what we are thinking, well, then we know that we can change our feelings by changing our thinking. Thus, we can change our experience of life by knowing that it comes from our own thinking. Now, if that is true, then we are ever only one thought away from experiencing something different and transforming our entire lives at any moment through a state of no thought. The mind is simply doing what it is designed to do. When we do not understand that, and that its only duty is to help us survive, then we will get angry and we will get frustrated with it. All conflict is derived from an innocent misunderstanding. Our mind's duty is to keep us alive. Our consciousness duty is to help us feel fulfilled. Your soul is the reason why you are even on this journey in the first place. To find peace, love, and joy for yourself. See, thoughts are the energetic, mental, raw material from which we use to create everything in the world. We cannot experience anything without thought. Now, it is important to know that thoughts are a noun, and they aren't something that we do, but something that we have. A thought takes no effort or force on our end, and it is something that just happens. We also cannot control what thoughts pop into our mind. The source of thoughts comes from something that is beyond our minds, the universe, if you will. Now, thinking, on the other hand, is the act of thinking about our thoughts. Now, this takes a significant amount of energy, effort, and willpower, which is a finite resource. Thinking is actively engaging with the thoughts in your mind. You don't have to engage with each thought in your mind. But when you do, now that is thinking. Thinking is the root cause of all of our psychological suffering. Thoughts create, thinking destroys. The reason thinking destroys is because as soon as we begin to think about the thoughts, we cast our own limiting beliefs, our own judgments, our own criticisms, programming, and conditioning onto the thought. Thinking of infinite reasons as to why we cannot do it and why we cannot have it. Now, there are also thoughts of creation. Thoughts that are inherently infinite, expansive, and energetically positive. You will know you are having thoughts from the divine when you feel positive emotions, feel lighter, and feel alive. The strength of the negative emotion we feel is in direct proportion to how much thinking we are doing in the moment. On the other hand, the intensity of the positive emotion we feel is inversely proportional to the amount of thinking we are doing in the moment. In other words, the less thinking we have going on, the stronger the positive emotion we feel in the present. At its fundamental level, the human experience is created by these three principles: universal mind, consciousness, and thought. These three principles work together to allow us to experience everything we do in life. And if one of the three is missing, we wouldn't be able to experience anything. Universal mind is the intelligence behind all living things. It is the force and energy that is in all things. It is how an acorn knows how to grow into a tree, how the planets know how to stay in orbit, and how our bodies know how to heal itself when we get a cut. It is how our bodies know how to self-regulate and keep us alive without us having to manually do everything, like breathing and beating our heart. The intelligence that knows how to do all of this and is in all things is called the universal mind. Now, all things are created by the universal mind, so there's no separation between anything and anytime. There seems to be separation between things. It is merely an illusion of our thinking. When we are connected to the universal mind, we feel whole, we feel fulfilled, we feel filled with love, joy, peace, and with inspiration. It is only when we begin thinking, believing the illusion or believing the ego, that we actually block this flow of universal mind and begin to feel separated, frustrated, lonely, angry, resentful, sad, depressed, and fearful. Universal consciousness is the collective consciousness of all things. It is what allows us to be aware that we exist and to be aware of our thoughts. Without universal consciousness, we wouldn't be able to experience anything. Our five senses would have no use because there's nothing to be aware of. Universal thought is the raw material of the universe, of which we can create from. It is our ability to think and create from the energy of the universal mind. It is the object we can perceive through consciousness. Without thought, we would have nothing to be aware of. A crowded mind leaves no space for a peaceful heart. Christine Evangelo. If life begins to feel unclear, disorganized, stressful, and you're actually not sure what to do next. You now know that it is only because your thinking is stirring up the dirt, making your mind cloudy and difficult to see ahead. Now you can use this as an indicator to help you realize that you're thinking way too much. Once we become aware of the fact that we are only feeling what we are thinking, and that thinking is the root cause of our unpleasant experience, we see it for what it truly is. You can also compare thinking to quicksand. The more that we fight our thinking, the more it amplifies the negative emotions, and the worse it gets. The same is true for quicksand. If we are in quicksand, the way out isn't to fight it. If we panic and we frantically try to fight it, it only makes things worse by tightening the grip it already has on us and pulling us under faster. The only way out is to stop struggling and allowing the natural buoyancy of your body to take over, to bring you back up to the surface with ease. The only way to break free from our thinking is to let go and trust that our natural inner wisdom will guide us back to clarity and back to peace like it always has. There is no way that we can remain in a state of non-thinking every second of every day. And if we were to try to make that a goal, we would cause ourselves to suffer by causing ourselves back into thinking again. We cannot control or prevent the oscillation between thinking and non-thinking, but we can minimize the time spent in thinking, and thus creating more moments where we do feel joyful, peaceful, passionate, and full of love. What can give us true peace is knowing that we always have this state of pure peace, love, and fulfillment underneath any thinking that we may ever have at any given moment. Now, that beautiful state we always want is something we can never lose, but only forget. But just because we can forget, it doesn't mean it is not there. Unconditional creation is the purest form of creation there is. When something is created from unconditional love, we cannot help but to stand there and admire it in awe. Unconditional creation is always innovative, unique, new, captivating, bold, different, revolutionary in its own way. Very few people operate in this space because we always put conditions around what we do or what we make. What do you do next after experiencing peace, joy, love, and fulfillment in the present? Do not think. It complicates things. Just feel. And if it feels like home, then follow its path. R.M. Drake. The point is not to try to prevent your thinking from ever entering your mind, but to shorten the time that it takes for you to remember that it is just your thinking that's actually causing the negative emotions. It is impossible to prevent thinking from happening because it is so ingrained in us. The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant. Now, we have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. Said Albert Einstein, society will almost never confirm our intuition until it's mainstream already. For this reason, if you try to look outside for confirmation on what you know to be true for you, you'll almost always get backlash and differing options and opinions on what next steps you should take. So avoid looking externally for answers. Follow your intuition your gut feeling, your inner wisdom, and the universe or God. When you do this, you will begin to see miracles occurring in your life that you never could have expected or even dreamed of. Those who have the faith and courage to do this will discover true joy, peace, and love they have been looking for while enjoying the miracle of life. It's not about what we have, but how we feel inside that is the true measure of success, joy, and fulfillment. The other point I want to bring up is that although we cannot control a lot of things, what we can have a say in is what we want in our lives, but not necessarily the how. For instance, we have the gift of imagination, access to infinite intelligence, which means we can come up with anything that we want in our lives. This is an amazing blessing. But where things can go sour is when we think that we need to figure out the how in order to make it happen. It is at this point that most people give up or continue down the path of brute force to try to bring it to life, and then suffer daily for it. This is why people believe that we have to work hard and suffer for what we want in life, and this is simply not true. It is only true if we think we have to figure out the how to get what we want in life. Our job is to come up with what we want, not how to get it. The how is really up to the universe, and this is the best case scenario anyway, because there are an infinite number of ways to bring about what you want in life. So for our little finite brains to figure it out would be futile nonetheless. Once you see something new from an insight, you cannot unsee it. Once your consciousness expands, it cannot contract again. We may forget from time to time and cause ourselves to suffer when we begin thinking again. But as soon as we remember that, we immediately realize that we are the ever-expanding awareness of life itself, and find love, peace, and joy in the present. Now, if this seems like it is too simple and that it cannot be all there is, that is just your mind causing you to think again. The truth is simple and will always be. And there you have it. Do not believe everything you think. Why, your thinking is the beginning and end of suffering. Now, please, do help out. It is easy. Simply like this video so more people can enjoy it. Share it, too. Spread the word. Do leave a comment and share your thoughts. Subscribe to my channel. Stay up to date. And the link to this book is also in the description below. So you buy it and you read and you never stop learning, especially learning about yourself and about nature. So gift yourself by taking the free human needs test on my website and find out what actually motivates you. What innate human need is driving all of your decisions and your behavior. And if you feel you are ready to improve your self-awareness, social awareness, self-management, and relationship management even further, then do check out my Master of Life Awareness program. The links are in the description below. Thank you. Love and respect.